Let's be realistic. When a woman interrupts you while you're talking, talks to other guys behind your back, acts as if your feelings were optional, or cancels plans at the last minute as if your time were worthless, it doesn't mean she's having a bad day. It means she's laughing in your face. And most men just smile and let it slide. You start thinking, maybe she's in a bad mood, maybe she woke up upset, etc. The reality is that you don't understand the game women play. And if you're tired of putting up with women who don't respect you, this video is for you. Today, I'll be brutally honest about real ways to handle female contempt without losing your cool and without sacrificing your self-esteem. So buckle up and stay until the end, because I guarantee no woman will ever laugh in your face again as if you were a clown. Point 1. Inspire respect. Don't ask for it. Here's the first thing you need to understand about respect. It's not something you can ask for, negotiate for, or demand. Respect is something you inspire through who you are and how you carry yourself. Most men get this completely backwards. They think respect is something external that other people give you. Wrong. Respect starts from within. Let me tell you about a guy I knew. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus was always complaining about how women treated him poorly. His girlfriend would mock him in front of friends, dismiss his opinions, interrupt him constantly. And Marcus would just take it, then come to me asking why women don't respect him. But here's what Marcus didn't see. He had no boundaries, no clear purpose in life, no standards for himself. He would cancel his own plans to accommodate others. He never stood up for what he believed in. He was always seeking approval instead of living by his own values. How could anyone respect someone who doesn't even respect himself? Then something changed. Marcus started focusing on himself. He got clear on his mission in life. He started saying no to things that didn't align with his values. He developed his own interests and stopped being available 24/7 for everyone else's problems. And something magical happened. The same women who used to walk all over him suddenly started treating him differently. Not because he demanded it, but because he embodied it. You see, respect is like attraction. It's not a conscious choice. When a woman sees a man who clearly values himself, who has boundaries, who has direction in life, her subconscious mind automatically categorizes him as someone worthy of respect. But when she sees a man who's desperate for approval, who has no boundaries, who will accept any treatment just to avoid conflict, her brain puts him in the safe to disrespect category. This isn't conscious cruelty. It's human nature. We all test boundaries to see what we can get away with. Children do it with parents, employees do it with bosses, and yes, women do it with men. If you don't have clear boundaries, if you don't respect yourself, you're essentially giving them permission to walk all over you. The lesson here is fundamental. If you don't respect yourself, nobody else will. Respect isn't given. It's earned through self-worth and demonstrated through your actions. So before you worry about how others treat you, ask yourself, how do I treat myself? Do I have standards? Do I stick to my values even when it's uncomfortable? Do I prioritize my own well-being? Because until you can answer those questions with confidence, you'll always be fighting an uphill battle for respect. When you walk into a room with genuine self-respect, people feel it. It's in your posture, your voice, the way you make eye contact. It's in the decisions you make and the boundaries you maintain. A man who respects himself doesn't need to announce it to the world. It shows up in everything he does. He doesn't tolerate disrespect because it's simply not compatible with who he is. Point 2. The power of withdrawal. Now let's talk about one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal when dealing with disrespect: strategic withdrawal. Most men, when they're being disrespected, make the mistake of fighting back immediately. They argue, they get emotional, they try to explain why the behavior is wrong, and all they're doing is giving the disrespectful person exactly what they want: attention and emotional reaction. Here's what most people don't understand. Nothing unsettles someone more than calmly removing your attention without drama. Let me share another story. I knew this guy, David, who was dating a woman who constantly made sarcastic comments about him in public. She'd mock his job, his clothes, his opinions, always with a smile like it was just playful teasing. David's first instinct was to defend himself every time. He'd explain why her comments hurt, he'd argue back, he'd get visibly upset. And you know what happened? She kept doing it because she was getting a reaction. Then David learned about withdrawal. The next time she made a disrespectful comment in front of others, he didn't argue. He didn't explain. He simply said, "Excuse me," and walked away. He went home. She called him 20 minutes later, asking what was wrong. He calmly said, "I don't engage with disrespect," and hung up. For the next few days, he was cordial but distant. No long conversations, no emotional investment, no pursuing her attention, just polite distance. And something interesting happened. She started apologizing. She started explaining that she was just joking. She started making an effort to be more respectful. Why? Because when David withdrew, she felt his absence more powerfully than she ever felt his complaints. You see, when someone disrespects you and you react emotionally, you're confirming their power over you. You're showing them that they can control your emotional state with their behavior. But when you withdraw calmly, you're demonstrating something much more powerful: that their disrespect has consequences, and those consequences are the loss of access to you. This isn't about being cold or punitive. It's about having enough self-respect to remove yourself from situations where you're not being treated well. Think about it this way: your attention is valuable, your time is valuable, your energy is valuable. When someone disrespects you, they're essentially saying that your value doesn't matter to them. So why would you continue to give them access to something they clearly don't appreciate? When you withdraw, you're not being dramatic. You're not making a scene. You're simply honoring your own worth by removing it from people who don't respect it. The key here is to do it without anger, without explanation, without drama. Just calm, dignified removal. When you leave, she's left thinking. When you complain, you confirm her power over you. This is psychological truth. Complaints give people power because they show that their actions affect you emotionally. But withdrawal shows that you have options, that you don't need their validation, that you're perfectly fine without them. And that's infinitely more powerful than any argument you could make. Point 3, set your standard with calm. The third principle is about clarity, not control. It's about making your boundaries crystal clear without getting emotional or justifying yourself. Most men think they need to explain why something is disrespectful, or argue their case, or convince the woman that she's wrong. This is a mistake. You don't need anyone's permission to have boundaries. You don't need to justify your standards. You just need to communicate them clearly and calmly. Here's a simple phrase that works in almost every situation. I like to give respect and receive it. If that's not how this works, then this doesn't work. No anger, no long explanations, no emotional manipulation, just clear communication of your standard. Let me tell you about another guy, Alex. Alex used to get into long arguments with his girlfriend whenever she disrespected him. He'd explain how her words hurt him. He'd list examples of her bad behavior. He'd try to make her understand why she was wrong. These arguments would go on for hours and nothing would change. In fact, The disrespect got worse because she learned that she could get a big emotional reaction from him whenever she wanted attention. Then, Alex changed his approach. The next time she made a disrespectful comment, he didn't argue. He simply said, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. If you want to have a conversation with me, you can try again with respect." She tried to pull him into an argument. She said he was being too sensitive, that she was just joking, that he couldn't take a joke. Alex didn't take the bait. He just repeated, "I don't engage in conversations where there's no mutual respect. Let me know when you're ready to talk respectfully." And then he went about his business. The dynamic changed immediately. She realized that her disrespectful behavior no longer got her the attention she was seeking. Instead, it got her ignored until she could behave respectfully. Within a few weeks, their communication improved dramatically. Not because Alex controlled her, but because he set a clear standard and stuck to it. This is what I mean by respect is not control, it's clarity. You're not trying to control how she behaves. You're simply making it clear what kind of behavior you'll engage with and what kind you won't. Some people will respect your boundaries immediately, others will test them, and some will refuse to respect them at all. But here's the beautiful thing. Their response tells you everything you need to know about whether they deserve access to your time and energy. A person who respects your boundaries is someone worth having in your life. A person who consistently violates them is showing you that they don't value you enough to treat you well. The key is consistency. Set your standard once, clearly and calmly. Then stick to it every single time. No exceptions, no negotiations, no second chances in the same conversation. Because the moment you make exceptions, you teach people that your boundaries are suggestions, not requirements. Point 4. Elevate your personal attractiveness. Here's something most men don't realize. The higher your value, the less likely anyone is to disrespect you in the first place. Think about it. Do people usually disrespect highly successful, confident, attractive men? Rarely. Why? Because high-value men command natural respect simply by who they are and what they represent. This isn't about being arrogant or thinking you're better than others. It's about continuously improving yourself so that you naturally inspire respect rather than having to demand it. Let me tell you about Jake. Jake was an average guy, decent job, okay shape, small social circle. He was dating this woman who constantly put him down. She'd criticize his appearance, make fun of his hobbies, dismiss his goals. Jake spent months trying to convince her to respect him through arguments and explanations. Nothing worked. Then Jake decided to focus on himself instead of trying to change her. He started hitting the gym seriously. He invested in better clothes that fit well. He pursued his passion for photography and started building a side business around it. He expanded his social circle by joining clubs and activities he was genuinely interested in. He started reading more, developing his mind, becoming more interesting as a person. As Jake transformed himself, something interesting happened. The same woman who used to disrespect him constantly started treating him differently. She became more attentive, more respectful, even a little jealous when other women started showing interest in him. But here's the best part. Jake realized he didn't want her anymore. By elevating himself, he attracted better options. Women who appreciated him from the start, who didn't need to be convinced to treat him well. This is the power of self-improvement. When you level up your mission, your physique, your style, your social circle, your skills, you don't just become more attractive, you become someone who naturally commands respect. People can sense when someone has options. They can feel when someone is on an upward trajectory, and they treat that person accordingly. A man with a clear mission in life, who takes care of his body, who dresses well, who has interesting hobbies, and a strong social network, that man doesn't usually have problems with disrespect because people instinctively know he has value. And here's the crucial part. This isn't about impressing others or seeking validation. It's about becoming the best version of yourself for your own satisfaction and growth. When you're genuinely focused on your own development, when you're pursuing goals that matter to you, when you're taking care of yourself physically and mentally, respect becomes a natural byproduct. The man who shines doesn't have to demand respect, he attracts it. This is why focusing on yourself is always more powerful than focusing on changing others. You can't control how people treat you, but you can control how valuable you make yourself. And the more valuable you become, the less tolerance you have for disrespect, and the less likely you are to encounter it in the first place. Point 5. Decide with strength. Let go if necessary. Now we come to the most important and most difficult principle. Sometimes, the most powerful response to persistent disrespect is to walk away completely. This is where most men struggle because they're emotionally invested. They think that if they just try harder, communicate better, or give more chances, they can turn things around. But here's the truth. If someone consistently disrespects you after you've set clear boundaries, they're showing you who they are. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Let me tell you about Mark. Mark was in a relationship with a woman who constantly belittled him. She'd insult him in front of friends, dismiss his opinions, mock his dreams and ambitions. Mark tried everything we've talked about. He worked on himself. He set boundaries. He withdrew when necessary. He communicated clearly. But nothing changed. She would apologize temporarily, then go right back to the same disrespectful behavior. For months, Mark kept investing more energy into trying to fix the relationship. He believed that because he loved her, he should keep fighting for it. But love without respect is not love at all. It's attachment. And attachment to someone who doesn't value you is a prison you build for yourself. Finally, Mark made the hardest decision of his life. He walked away, not in anger, not with ultimatums or drama. He simply told her that he couldn't continue in a relationship where there wasn't mutual respect, and he ended it. It was painful. He questioned his decision for weeks, but something powerful happened. He got his self-respect back. Within months, Mark was a different man. He was happier, more confident, more focused on his goals. And he attracted women who treated him with the respect he deserved from the beginning. The woman he left? She tried to come back multiple times, suddenly promising to change, suddenly realizing what she had lost. But Mark had learned that actions matter more than promises, and patterns matter more than apologies. This is the ultimate boundary, your willingness to walk away from people who don't value you. It's not easy. It requires courage. It requires you to value yourself more than you fear being alone. But it's the most powerful statement you can make about your own worth. Respecting yourself means not staying where you're not valued. Some people will only learn to respect you after they lose you. Others will never learn at all. But that's not your problem to solve. Your job is to recognize your own value and refuse to accept less than you deserve. When you're willing to walk away from anyone who doesn't treat you well, friends, family, romantic partners, anyone, you operate from a position of strength. You make decisions based on your standards, not your fears. And that's when you truly command respect. Not because you demand it, but because you demonstrate that you value yourself enough to remove yourself from situations where you're not valued. Let me leave you with this final thought. Respect is not something you can force from others. It's something you inspire through who you are and how you carry yourself. When you respect yourself enough to have clear boundaries, when you're willing to withdraw from disrespectful situations, when you communicate your standards clearly, when you continuously work on becoming a better version of yourself, and when you're strong enough to walk away from people who don't value you, that's when you naturally command the respect you deserve. Remember, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you tolerate disrespect, you'll get more of it. If you have clear standards and stick to them, people will rise to meet them or remove themselves from your life. Either outcome is a win for you. Don't waste your time trying to convince people to respect you. Instead, become someone so valuable, so self-assured, so clear in your boundaries that respect becomes the natural response. If this video helped you see respect in a new light, hit that like button. Subscribe for more content about becoming a stronger, more confident man. And let me know in the comments, which of these 5 principles resonated most with you? Until next time, remember, your respect starts with you.